Hello there, Internet. This is Once in a While Art Tips, and I'm your host, Ondo. If you've seen my 5 Things That Can Kill an OC video, you'll know that I took a slight dip into posing for strong character design. So, what do you say to getting a bit deeper into the topic? If you're still there, I assume you do. Posing! Posing is a huge part of working with characters, whether it's designing them, making comic books, storyboards, animations, etc. Look through any art of book and chances are much of it will be made up of character exploration and poses. I should know, I'm running out of bookshelf. Anyways, when designing a character, it's important to capture what their essence is in a visual way. I'm sure you've heard of show don't tell in writing. Well, this can go double for art. Posing can really help tell the audience a lot about a character by showing off their personality, how they carry themselves, and how they would react to a specific situation. But before we get started, I want to say that this video is about posing human, humanoid, anthro, and primarily bipedal characters. And while the same examples I'll be using can apply to naturalistic animals or monster characters as well, they may not translate in the same way due to the anatomy issues or just the way that animals move by nature. Without further ado, let's look at what goes into a good pose. First off, what kind of person is your character? Strong silent type? Hyper? Adventurous? Perhaps they're a hopeless romantic. All of these descriptions can easily be applied by using the character's body language. Keeping the character's personality in mind can really help when choosing fitting poses. Strong silent characters are typically reserved. They minimize their movements and would most likely keep their arms and legs close to their center. If the character is somewhat standoffish, they may choose to hold themselves upright and have their head tilted at a higher angle. A more lone wolf type character may prefer to look down and coolly lean against walls while crossing their arms and surveying their surroundings. The silent type may have problems with being open about their feelings, so they might create a foreboding atmosphere or create more closed poses as a natural barrier. Hyper characters, on the other hand, use bold, wide, and expressive body language. They may kick their legs out, wave their arms in open movements, or bounce around. Hyper characters might be more open with their surface feelings and leave themselves wide open in their poses as well. An adventurous character may make bold stances, leaning forward with one leg ahead, maybe looking out at a horizon with a hand shielding their face from the sun, leaning forward in anticipation. Perhaps they are energetically running toward the unknown. A romantic, on the other hand, may be leaning toward one side, hands clasped up by their cheek. They would probably have a smaller stance, arms and legs closer together. They could be demurely looking away in an upward direction, hands over their heart, daydreaming, or leaning forward with their elbows on the table, resting their chin on their hands. A romantic, while longing for affection, is in a place of vulnerability, so they may create a barrier over their chest with their arms, hands, or whatever they seem to be carrying. And these are just some basic examples of how you can get a character's personality across. Also think about what types of poses those same characters would make when reacting to something. What if they're sad or embarrassed or they just woke up? Chances are not all of those characters would be able to use the same poses without looking out of place or changing aspects of their perceived personality. However, if done intentionally, you can get some really interesting results, like a tough guy who doesn't actually look very tough. You can take poses even farther by thinking of what your character wants, what they secretly think of other people, what their motivations are, and add a whole new layer of expression. Popular examples of this are the double crosser, the tsundere, and the secret badass. Having context to why your character acts the way they do can really help in the long run. Even if they are just standing still, each character has their own form of expressing themselves. It's just a matter of finding what works. A good way to accomplish this is by paying attention to posture. Some characters may lean forward, some may slouch, while others may puff out their chests. Even if you were to look at these kinds of characters with their hands simply at their side, each of their postures say something about themselves. Posture can really help tell a lot about a person, or their character, or what kind of situation they're in. Maybe the forward-leaning character might be expectant, or maybe they might have a back problem. The slouching person may be insecure, or maybe they're tired. The person with their chest out may be self-important, or maybe they think they're a bird. Adding in expressions and positioning the arms and legs can really add to whatever the character is feeling and doing by emphasizing their emotion or personality. A good way to keep this in mind is to find their center. The center is basically where the character's posture is drawn, almost like a magnet. A center is not always consistent. In fact, a character's center can change dramatically from pose to pose, but keeping a center in mind can help you decide on how the body should be situated. On a bit of an aside, using a character's center can be a great way to visualize changes in the character's outlook or behavior. Perhaps you have a character who often has a lot of confidence. Chances are their center will be higher up on their body. If their outlook shifts and they become insecure, their center may end up shifting to a lower point. These contrasts can add a lot to storytelling, so keep it in mind. Another thing to keep in mind when working with postures is balance. When a person is standing, there is a direct line of gravity keeping them grounded and upright. Leaning too far in a direction without balancing themselves would most likely result in them falling over, so the same would apply to a character's pose. A standing position should have a direct line of gravity keeping the character upright. But you can also use the opposite for a really interesting effect. Unbalanced poses that lack clear movement are normally off-putting. It might make you feel like the person is about to fall over, or if the character appears to be at ease in said position, they may seem unsettling, possessed, or like a rag doll. Creating characters with an off sense of balance can really help contrast with other characters they may interact with as well. A character in motion, on the other hand, can often have unbalanced and balanced poses without feeling uncomfortable or looking like the character may fall because of the added force of their movement. Finally, we're going to look at the line of action and silhouettes. The line of action is basically an invisible line that follows the main motion of the body. Having a strong action line can really make a pose dynamic and create really expressive imagery. Have you ever wondered why every page of Tracy Butler's Lackadaisy looks so natural? It's because she pays special attention to character posing as well as having strong lines of action in almost every panel where you see a character's body. Even stationary characters have a clear line of action to them, and each character has their own expressive form of posture and expression as well. Having a clear line of action can turn a good pose into a great one. The key is keeping a character's pose moving in a clearly readable arch. Even if the character is just standing still, instead of keeping them straight up and down, shift their weight, pop out a hip, have them lean to one side, and so on. The line of action can go from subtle to exaggerated and keeps everything looking more pleasing to the eye. Silhouettes also come in handy when having clearly readable poses and even character design. A good rule of thumb when looking at poses is if the character were to be completely blacked out, would you still be able to tell what the action or pose was? Could you tell who the character was? Having a strong silhouette can really drive home the idea behind a pose and create strong compositions. The less overlap of the body, the stronger the silhouette will be. Being able to read a pose in an instant will give it much more power than having to look for it. Sure, you can still get across the same idea, but it's like the difference between a punch in the face and a tap on the shoulder. I'm going to end off the episode with a new section I'm going to add to my videos called Supplementary Materials. These are some extra things to check out or do if you have the chance. So, today's materials are Tracy Butler's Lackadaisy. For real, go check out this comic, folks. The story is fantastic, the posing and expressions are just so natural, and every panel has so much attention to detail. I want to frame every page and stick them up on my walls. If you like 1920s bootlegging cats, Lackadaisy is a must-read. Next, we've got acting lessons. If you have the ability to take an acting class, I cannot recommend them enough. You will learn some really important information like how to block a scene, how to emote, and use body language, as well as lots of exercises like how to walk, stand, and move in character. Learning how to act can really give you a leg up in your visual storytelling. Finally, we have extra credits video on posing. I really didn't go too far in depth with silhouettes and lines of action in this video, mostly because I don't think I could have covered the topic as well as that video does. Go check it out, it's got great examples and it's a really good watch. Whew, and with that, we are done. I want to thank you all so much for your patience with this video. I know it took a while to get up, but I hope this information dump really helps out a lot. I'll see you all next time. Bye!